Virtual reality is completely transforming how our brains process reality, and new research suggests it could be rewiring our neural pathways in ways we never expected. The implications are both thrilling and concerning. Hi, I'm Colin Cooper, and welcome to the show. I'm here with my AI co-host, Jessica.
That's fascinating, and a bit unsettling. What exactly are researchers discovering about VR's effects on our brains?
Well, recent studies on rats showed significant changes in their spatial memory and brain activity when exposed to virtual environments. While we can't directly apply these findings to humans yet, it raises important questions about how this technology might be affecting millions of users worldwide.
And we're seeing more people using VR for longer periods, especially in professional settings. What are the immediate health impacts we're already observing?
The most common issue is what's called cybersickness. Think motion sickness, but in virtual space. Your brain gets these conflicting signals. Your eyes tell you you're moving through a virtual world, but your inner ear says you're standing still. It can trigger dizziness, nausea, and this really strange sense of disconnection from reality.
You know what's interesting about that? The symptoms can persist even after people take off the headset.
Exactly right. And that's why the American Academy of Ophthalmology came up with the 20-20-20 rule, taking a 20-second break every 20 minutes to look at something 20 feet away. But here's what's really fascinating. Despite these challenges, the medical field is embracing VR in revolutionary ways.
Tell me more about those medical applications.
So imagine you're a surgical resident and you need to practice a complex procedure. Traditional training might give you 1 or 2 chances to observe and assist. But with VR, you can perform that same surgery dozens of times, making mistakes and learning from them without any risk to actual patients. Some medical schools are reporting up to 40% improvement in procedure accuracy after VR training.
That's remarkable. But what about the therapeutic applications? I've heard VR is showing promise in mental health treatment.
Oh, the mental health applications are incredible. For PTSD treatment, therapists can gradually expose patients to trauma triggers in a controlled environment. They're seeing success rates increase by nearly 30% compared to traditional exposure therapy. And for chronic pain management, this blew my mind. Some patients report up to a 50% reduction in pain levels during VR sessions.
Those numbers are impressive. How are businesses adapting this technology?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. Companies are creating these immersive virtual workspaces that go way beyond simple video calls. We're talking about environments where you can manipulate 3D models in real time, collaborate on virtual whiteboards, and even pick up on subtle body language cues that you'd miss in a regular video conference.
But surely there must be concerns about spending so much time in virtual environments?
You're right, and that's why proper implementation is crucial. Companies implementing VR are finding they need to establish clear guidelines. No more than 2-hour sessions at a time, mandatory 15-minute breaks between sessions, and proper ergonomic setups to prevent physical strain.
Speaking of guidelines, what about children using this technology? That seems like a particular concern.
The research here is pretty clear and concerning. Children under 13 should have very limited VR exposure, no more than 20 minutes at a time, with at least hour-long breaks between sessions. Their developing visual systems are particularly vulnerable to the effects of prolonged VR use.
That's important information for parents. How do you see this technology evolving in the next few years?
The next generation of VR technology is focusing on solving these health concerns. We're seeing developments in eye tracking technology that adjusts image rendering to reduce eye strain, and new haptic feedback systems that could help reduce motion sickness by providing physical sensations that match visual inputs.
Those advances sound promising. What about accessibility concerns?
That's actually one of the biggest challenges right now. High-end VR systems can cost upwards of $1,000, which creates a significant barrier to entry. Some companies are developing shared VR facilities, similar to early computer labs, but we need more solutions to ensure this technology doesn't create new forms of digital divide.
How are educational institutions handling these accessibility challenges?
They're getting creative. Some universities are implementing VR lending programs, similar to laptop lending programs. They're also developing hybrid approaches, where some students can participate in VR while others use traditional methods. The key is ensuring no student is left behind as this technology becomes more integral to education.
Looking ahead, what should we be watching for in terms of VR development?
3 main areas. First, advances in haptic feedback technology that could revolutionize how we interact with virtual objects. Second, improvements in eye tracking and display technology to reduce physical strain. And third, the development of more affordable, accessible systems that could bring VR to a broader audience.
Those developments could really change how we think about virtual experiences.
Absolutely right. And that's why it's so important to keep having these conversations about both the potential and the pitfalls. As we move forward with VR technology, we need to ensure we're creating a future that enhances human connection